Finally, the God of vengeance is at work. The wicked will not go unpunished. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have never listened from the beginning to the end or paid attention to this justice for Mohbad, please do on this one, because what you're about to hear is explosive. This is deep. In fact, this justice for Mohbad, I knew that we will get to this point. It is the point that we have all been hoping for. Karma. They did all that they did. They thought they could manipulate social media. They wanted to use Gisle's lover. There's nothing they didn't do. They come out gun blazing. They were screaming. They were dancing at the coffin shop. They thought that this was a joke, business as usual. Their own lives and that of their own children is more important. But any other person's life, they believe that they can use it for clout chasing or use it for their own personal vendetta. But you will be shocked. You will be shocked, ladies and gentlemen, at this progress that we have gotten to. Well, like I was saying yesterday, an investigative journalist did some digging. And in fact, where we are right now on Justice for Mohbad, where we are will shock you. Wunmi and our mentor or mentors, wherever they are, everyone has been brought to book. This, I repeat, is the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end. There is no way out of this. It is not possible. Thank God that Mohbad's father has been granted the opportunity to carry out private autopsy and possibly toxicology. And recall what Brekete said, that he got this from a reliable source, that they intentionally refused, although they did it secretly, but it became something public. They refused to embalm Mohbad properly to preserve. Why? Because they had a motive. They had one thing to achieve, to make sure that the period and time they will be carrying out the autopsy. Don't forget that it took so long, and that time frame was for a purpose. They needed to make sure that the result does not come out as it should. Why? What are they covering? What are they covering? What exactly is this thing? Mohbad is not politically connected. Neither is any of Mohbad's parents politically connected. So, what is behind this? This is what you're about to find out in this one. Like I said, pay attention from the beginning of it till the end. Still on justice for Mohbad. Don't forget to like and share. Don't forget to tap on the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Very important. Returning subscribers, those that have been here, thank you. And if you've tapped on the thanks button, the one with the love icon and the dollar sign in the middle of it, may God replenish your pocket. If you also want to be part of this, to encourage us, tap on the same button.
Now, ẹni tó bá yé nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú result autopsy Mohbad kàn explain fún wa. I taught in journalism in February, before I retired, that no journalist must say there's no cause of death. What I taught was I want people to always report a cause of death. The only thing that should prevent a journalist from reporting a cause of death is privacy. I taught that in my school. A music artist lost his mom. I know what killed his mom, and it was very bad. What killed that music artist's mother was very bad and sudden. Sometimes when people die, and it's a sudden death, it becomes sadder. Okay? Bí kéèyàn jáde, kó lọ sínú mọ́tò, kó lọ lọ supermarket, kó kick trailer àgbà, kó dẹ̀ kú just like that. Nigeria can lose ọmọ America like that this past week. Sudden death can be very sad. This celebrity's mother died of a very sad death. But because of her age And because her daughters wanted to celebrate her life, you saw a nice big funeral. But her cause of death was not announced because of privacy. That is the only reason. When Mohbad left the concert, there were drugs in his system. He takes Molly. He was holding a cup filled with degenerate bitters. Cubana chief priest Soso Berecon's brands. Those guys have not spoken till today. The people that sponsored the concert. The alcoholic bitters may have been mixed with Molly. When that was in his system, which is dangerous as it is, he got drunk and tipsy. And the police press conference told you guys, Edu, thank you, that Mohbad was impaired and he wanted to stand on top of the car with his head out of the sunroof to wave to his fans. As a solo artist, that was his comeback. Primeboy pulled him back and said, don't do that, it's too dangerous. Meaning that they could have people that were from Malian music out there to harm him. He came out of the car and punched Primeboy. I missed the punch. Instead, he punched the car. His entire hand was damaged. There was a wound, and they went home. They called the nurse. Nurse was not around, so they called another nurse. As they were going upstairs, there was an argument that ensued between Mohbad and Wunmi. According to my investigation and what I heard, a bottle of something was thrown. If you throw a bottle of beer or a bottle of bitters or a bottle of something, I don't know, if you throw something at someone, it'll break, right? So now, picking up the broken bottle and then attacking Mohbad with it is another thing. The father said, who stabbed his son? The auntie said, who stabbed his son? The autopsy was done in front of the family in September. September 21st, the autopsy was finished. Why did the pathologist not discuss the external autopsy results at the inquest yesterday? That is Falana's job. That is Falana's job. To distort the information. An autopsy is a report of what killed somebody. Included in that autopsy is a toxicology report. It is part of it. It is part of it. Nigerian police tweeted Benjamin Hundeyin on the 21st of September that the autopsy is ready. We're just waiting for the toxicology test. It takes 6 weeks. I posted that. I sent it to Ben Hundeyin. I said, I've almost finished my own investigation on this side. I'm helping the NDLEA with this situation because I was the only journalist that actually talked about the NDLEA arrest. And Mohbad was not arrested by the NDLEA. He fled. Him and Wunmi fled. The very next day, I went on Cool FM. I had to go and look for that so that the NDLEA can be vindicated because Tonto Dike and Iyabo were bent on defaming the NDLEA. Shinjinilo Kubai. Shinjinilo Kubai, DSS, was asked to enter the investigation. Shinjinilo Kubai arrest Iyabo ati Tonto. Do you know what that means? Yoruba speaking people, non-Yoruba speaking people. Timu, thank you for the stars. Everybody's sending me Sadinka, thank you for the stars. Those of you that don't understand Yoruba, let me just say this. Tiny little bit like this. DSS was asked to enter the investigation. Do you know why they entered the investigation? What was their job? They were going to carry Tonto and Iyabo and arrest them. If Iyabo and Tonto were arrested by the DSS, they will not see the light of the day for 2 years. DSS does not arrest people and release them like police. You will be there for 2 years in their dungeon. Because what they did was seriously serious. Iyabo and Tonto came up with a lie and went to sit down in the office of the police commissioner saying the NDLEA poisoned Mohbad. Something that happened February of 2022. And that is one of the reasons I started the NDLEA Spaces. The very next day I went to Cool FM. I spoke to Cool FM. Man interviewed me over the phone. I was the only one that tweeted it. The Nigerian media did not do anything. Oh, the NDLEA raided it. I had the video I posted. You saw Wunmi was going towards the Kini now. Wunmi was going towards an NDLEA guy, going to hit the guy. You can see Sheyi shouting, Wunmi, Wunmi. She was high as a bat. At the end of the day, people, what did I do? So as the NDLEA being vindicated, I sent a letter to Marwa, like, can we have the names of who are the people that were arrested? And the agents came up with the name. There was no Ileri Oluwa, Oladimeji, Aloba. Because Mohbad fled, the very next day Mohbad came out, the very thing happens to be blame Naira Marley and Malian music. I want to ati Iyabo. I get footage here on the 2023 footage. You see how they lie, how they distort news. They now went and made that footage a 2023 footage when it was actually 2022. If anything happens to me, blame Naira Marley and Malian music. Meanwhile, Naira Marley is in Sweden. I contacted him. I said, you better come down. They've raided your house and arrested all your artists. Naira Marley was tweeting from the airport saying the NDLEA beats my artists, not knowing that they didn't want to arrest Mohbad. So some of you are now carrying that tweet. You are not saying, Shebi Naira Marley tweeted it, or Denini. Use your brain. There are ways to vindicate people. Every time I go on a radio station, I always ask for a clip. Luckily, I had the clip from Cool FM. And when I spoke to Cool FM, yeah, last night they raided the Malian house, everything. Mohbad got away, blah, blah, blah. You see, you can't change that. Then I did my TikTok videos on the high blood pressure situation. A year later, I brought everything out. Vindicated, right? It's more than vindicated. It's to tell you that you should stop these lies. Iyabo and Tonto. Marwa was out of the country. They were defaming Marwa. Do you know the kind of work Marwa has done since Buhari put him there? Since Buhari put Marwa there, do you know the kind of work this man has done? All the drug dealers he has arrested, oh my God, they started a program for drug addicts. They started a toll-free number with doctors, psychologists, pharmacists, everybody ready to help you. The NDLEA had a new look. They were helping people, not just arresting. They were educating people. Agents were going to school. People like Kemi had their own programs too. We came on the spaces every Friday. I'm still on the spaces. I was there 18 months. I've been there for the last 3-4 weeks now. Any Friday I have free, I'll go on the spaces from any country or anywhere. You heard what they said last week. Like, she's calling from Maryland, she's calling from Ghana, she's calling from Mauritius, you know, different parts of the world where I'm working. And I try to make it. With all that, 2 ordinary, useless actresses wanted to mess his name up by saying that NDLEA poisoned Mohbad. I can tell you that now, because it's over. The DSS was about to arrest Iyabo and Tonto. Marwa was not taking it funny. Imagine if they were arrested for defamation. That would have been a serious one. Àwọn olórí burúkú méjì. Anywhere you see Tonto and Iyabo flaunting a foundation, flaunting a sick person, they are using that information to eat. They have no means of livelihood. That's how they fund their lifestyle. Tonto runs Gist Lover. He employed people who don't even know she's the employer. Some of those boys were helping them convert crypto to cash. And they didn't know it was Tonto and Iyabo that they were working for until they were arrested. After they exhumed his body and they arrested the nurse, and the nurse told all the medications she gave, that's when we knew that they had rigged Mohbad with a cocktail of drugs. Kí ni ìyá Mohbad àti ìyá Wunmi ń wò? So ìyá Wunmi máa sọ pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé Wunmi hire nurse. Wunmi hire nurse tí wọ́n fún Mohbad ní oríṣiríṣi antibiotics, anti-inflammatory, until ìgbà tó bá fún ní cephalosporin tó pa. What about the external? Mohbad was in the ground for 7 days and you saw a fluid like blood when they brought him out. There's a process called rigor mortis and another process called livor mortis. Rigor mortis and livor mortis is a process in which the body starts to decay. And the first thing to go is the liver. The liver and the kidneys are where all drugs are metabolized. The prescription drugs, the molly and the legal drug. Gbogbo nǹkan tó wà nínú Mohbad. Wọ́n á take sample yẹn, ẹ wá lè send this America. You did not send anything to America, Dr. Somari. You wanted it to make it look like you sent it to America. We as the people have the right to know where it was sent. When there's no drugs involved, you can exhume a body, all right, and know what killed the person. An autopsy means opening the body and seeing every single organ. You must look at every single organ and make sure. Do you remember the team that Sanwo-Olu put together? It was a big team of medical experts, forensic experts. Oh, yeah, dollars. She got a watching here. A very external autopsy. Formalin. Tó bá ti wọnú ara, ó máa melt with organs faster. Mohbad was already 6 feet under. So tó máa gbé body Mohbad jáde. Don't take any kind of samples from toxicology tests. You cannot tell which drug was in that boy's system at that point. So what they said in the court was right, but it was botched and made up. We can't know whether Wunmi poisoned Mohbad. Remember she said when Mohbad was vomiting and having that reaction to the cephalosporin drug, and they rushed him to the hospital and we saw them in traffic. Remember? It was convulsing. You saw his neck move. Where did she say she was? She was in the kitchen cooking Indomie. The same Indomie she cooks and poisons it with drugs that will make him sleep so that she can go and do hookup. People, wake up. So, what I wanted to see in the toxicology test was what did Mohbad ingest at the club, at the concert. That should have been the first thing that they took from his body once he was exhumed. However, that may not show again, because if Mohbad put Molly inside bitters, by the time they started treating him inside the house, we're going to metabolize now. Ó ti kúrò ní system ẹ̀, ṣé bó ti tọ̀, ṣé bó ti yàgbẹ́. From the concert, which was the 11th, I believe it was the 11th of September, to the 13th when he died, in those 24, 48 hours, anything he ingested would have been metabolized. Because new drugs were not inserted into him, were administered to him. So this is like a pharmacy thing, a medical thing, and doctors are quiet. I have a list somewhere. Ceftriaxone, cephalosporin antibiotic, iodine tincture, penicillin G. There was a lot of stuff. I have the list. The girl was playing nurse, and she was not under the supervision of anyone. An auxiliary nurse is supposed to be under the supervision of a RN, a registered nurse.
This is deep. This is deep. One thing that I have observed about Kemi Olunloyo is that she has remained consistent. Yes, she might not be 100% on all information because she's getting it from sources that she trusts. But to a larger extent, she is consistent with most of what she's saying. Now, what happened to Mohbad when his body was exhumed with so many red liquid coming out? I don't want to use a blah, you know what I mean? Coming out of him. Where did it come from? Where did that amount drained from? Is it from the same injury that is said to be on a part of his arm? Did it come from that part? Probably due to the handling and everything, rigor mortis and many other things that happened. Then the blood started coming out from that particular part of his body. And since white cloth is what has been used to clothe him, white fabric to clothe him, maybe that is why it is more evident. Or what exactly? Now, back to Mohbad's father. His account is this. When I got upstairs to see my son, where we normally talk, I saw blood stained here and there. Now, Mohbad's auntie said the same thing because she went with Mohbad's father. She did not turn back. In fact, I'm kind of thinking that Mohbad's mom too was there, but she's pretending. Wunmi said at the coroner inquest that it's not true, that it was just a little stain, and in fact they used it to sleep that night, and later Mohbad's family, is it Adura or Mohbad's mom, still used it to cover herself. Like, I don't really get it. I don't get it. I don't really get what's happening here. So Kemi Olunloyo, she has pointed out what many people probably must have forgotten. And this has to do with the fight that Wunmi and Mohbad had. That part of it, Wunmi is not ready to tell us the truth. It's as if, no, we were just arguing. Now, we need to ask Primeboy to be more truthful, because the account of Primeboy is this. They were quarreling. So I now said enough. Then Mohbad now got angry and said I should calm down. Probably he is also tipsy and high, and he could not account for everything that happened. Or what he said is part of what happened. Because according to Kemi now, Mohbad wanted to wave his fans like, okay, you know what? Let me say hello. And Primeboy, as a good friend, wanted to protect the interest of his friend. Like, look, guy, me, I am spiritually protected. That is if we go by what Mohbad's mom claimed that Adura told her, that when he went after Primeboy, hit Primeboy, he felt some strange sensation of feeling, like an electric shock. And he ran back to the others and said, don't touch that guy. Don't come around him. Don't touch him, because when I did, something strange happened to me. Don't. So if we are to go by that, it is either Primeboy is like, look, guy, anyone that touch me, something will happen to them. But you, I know you are still empty for now. Maybe later he was going to introduce the same thing to Mohbad, like, look, because of this guy is beating you, go and do this, go and do that to protect yourself. Whenever any of them touch you, something will happen to them. So he tried to pull Mohbad from the sunroof. Listen, stay in. Don't put yourself out there, because anything can happen to you, meaning they could use a weapon on you. Stay inside. They could throw something at you. Stay in. Mohbad got angry. Now, let us connect these to what we heard from the account of spending and also Primeboy, that people were gathered. They needed to take something. Normally, this is what these hoodlums do. We call them fans. So they needed money or something from Mohbad. Mohbad had sent Adura to go change the money he had with him into smaller denomination to give to them. Well, he came back late, according to the story, and Primeboy had reprimanded. This could also be part of it, but the part that spending Primeboy and Wunmi and Adura, who is yet to come to say the truth publicly, apart from the coroner inquest, all of them have a portion of something that they are hiding, and also they all know that they are part of everything that happened. So Mohbad got angry, punched, or told Primeboy. Let us start from what Primeboy said, that he told me to come down. And I'm like, God, why now? Why you would tell me to come down now? For what? To what end? Why? Don't. Mohbad got upset. Now, let's go to what Wunmi said. That Mohbad came out of the car, opened the door, and asked him to step out. Like, oh yeah, come out. Step out of my car. Go. Now, there is something that we can connect together in all that they all said. That Primeboy came out of that SUV. Primeboy never told us that Mohbad hit any part. Maybe he didn't see that Mohbad hit anything because, you know, this is a fight. The public is out there. Hoodlums, gangsters, whatever, everything is there. It's not possible for him to see everything happening. Maybe Mohbad got angry, wanted to punch some other part of the car. He wasn't looking, or he did punch. It might not be possible for Primeboy to account every detail. Like he now came down, then he fell, then he stood up again, then he moved to the right, then he moved to the left, then he now turned back, then he now hit the car. No. He might not be able to give all of this information or detail. But the thing is that every one of them have their own version, what they saw that happened. So eventually, Adura was called by Wunmi and Tarusha because they were in a different automobile. Now, Wunmi said, I went to call the security and also informed siblings. Hey, something is happening. They all came like, that guy, what is wrong with him? So, is it possible that two things happened on that day? Quarrel between Adura and Primeboy prior or after? Because the account of Primeboy and the stories we heard, all of it joined together, points to two things that had happened before the final one between Wunmi and Mohbad. Yes. Now, autopsy conducted, the physical exam of Mohbad should show more. But when I looked at it, what I saw, they said, oh, after examination, they didn't see any blunt or sharp object used on Mohbad, that they couldn't see the effect of it. But they only saw a little laceration of so centimeter at a particular part of his arm. That's all. That there is nothing. And that picture that circulated on social media shows that particular part. So this part of Mohbad was injured at a particular part of his neck. Recall that they said they bent the neck of Mohbad. Did they bend the neck of Mohbad to hide that particular part so no one will see? Is that what they did? Like, okay, you know what? Let's bend that neck so the part of his neck that was punctured will not show. Are you guys beginning to get where I'm going to? Was the neck of Mohbad bent to hide that part? They don't want anyone to see that part of his neck that was punctured. They eventually bled more when he was exhumed? Is it what happened? What is the role of Wunmi in all of this? Kemi has said it several times, and I think Bukky Jesse also said it, that there was a fight. And Spending confirmed that there was a fight in the SUV on their way home, that he was struggling to hold on to Liam. That's to tell you how violent they became, how aggressive they both became. These are people who should not even have any child at all. They were so aggressive. Wunmi was not holding on to the baby. Mohbad didn't care. Of course, to him, that child does not belong to him. Mohbad didn't care. So Spending said, as I was holding on to the baby, I was also holding on to the door of the SUV, so that either of them would not mistakenly open as the car was on motion. You see? So he said, in between, the driver of the SUV, because it doesn't belong to Mohbad, said, hey, what is this thing that you guys are doing? Do you guys want to destroy the parts of this car? What's wrong with you guys? What's happening? Then Wunmi, as usual, said, open the door. I want to go out. She did not leave. They kept on going. They kept on. They got home. Did that fight stop? Now, there is a railing that was spotted by people who came there. They said, look, that railing, something happened to that railing. It's like there was a fight there. Now, let's go back to Spending. Spending said the next day, Mohbad woke up and asked him, did you fight me? Did we have a fight? Were you part of people who fought me? He said, no, I'm not part of people who fought you. So you see that there is more to what the eyes can see. So it means that Mohbad was intoxicated. He was 20% aware of what was happening, but he knew of one thing: paternity. That was bothering him a lot. Paternity of that child. Now, Wunmi, we also heard, because Spending said, I was downstairs, I didn't hear much. Hadra was the one that was upstairs, so he probably heard more. They were screaming, fighting, they closed the door, they were shouting. But he said he heard a little. Now he's just trying to be a bit careful here. Yes, he might not know everything. To an extent, he got info of certain things that they were both arguing about. Said, I heard passport, I heard Canada. And of course, he heard about paternity. So people added one and one together. This is how Obelegushi got into it. Not to talk of the part that Iyabo Ojo and Tonto Dike played. You heard what Kemi Oluloyo said, that whenever you see both of them in action, Shekpeteri and Bush Baby, they are into it for some other things, that they are failed actress, according to Kemi Oluloyo, saying that failed actress means, this comes from the very dark black man's, in quote, defamation, that she's a failed actress. Well, I don't know what you guys think of this, because it is becoming more serious than we think. Still on justice for Mohbad. What is the way forward? Why is there so much interest to cover up the demise of Mohbad? To what end? Why? And as per the NDLEA, that's the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, what did they do? What happened? What was that they gave Mohbad? They said, no, Mohbad is not part of those. But it is glaring from the audio that we heard that something happened in between. Did Mohbad escape? Did they hit him something on his head? But the audio that we heard, Mohbad was telling Wunmi, ever since that NDLEA thing, my life has been messed up. I don't even know you. Where did you go? Like accusing. And Wunmi said, he was accusing me that I was not with him. But me, myself, I was not in control of myself. they had already beaten me. I was in a drainage or somewhere, and blah blah blah. He was accusing me that I didn't come check on him, I didn't come to see him. So Mohbad claimed that they gave him something to drink, and they said, hey, you too, so you are part of those people using hard substance, take this water. I don't understand. Did they put something on Mohbad's head and say take it or fall on the floor? Because Mohbad claimed that he's the only one they gave. Why did you drink it? I don't understand. I don't really understand some things about Mohbad. Okay, after the NDLEA thing, Mohbad came out to now say if anything happens to him, hold the Malian. Like how? A lot of things are not clear. It is all muddled up. It is all muddled up. And Kemi said she did her investigation and asked questions. And no one did apart from her. I don't know what you guys think of this. There is more to what the eyes can see. Drop your comment.